Hello and welcome to Monday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic. Well, really, I should say second edition of Cracking the Cryptic, because I hope you've all seen that at 10 o'clock this morning UK time, we released a bonus video on the channel. And frankly, I'm still sort of buzzing from it. It's a video in which I get the chance to solve a cryptic crossword with none other than the chess legend Peter Svidler, who has been sort of an idol of mine for years and years. I don't know how many hours of commentary of Peter's I've watched over the years, but it's loads. And yeah, big thanks to Dimitri, actually, who suggested to me in a message that I might get in touch with Peter and he might be amenable to coming on the channel, and so it proved. So yeah, thank you very much for that. Anyway, there's a video. The puzzle that we solve is by Mark, so it is it's really a lovely confluence of events, and Peter is exactly like you'd expect him to be. Incredibly witty, such a brilliant mind, doing a cryptic crossword in his second language. It's just honestly. Anyway, so that's up there. I know cryptic crosswords aren't for everybody, but I think if they are even remotely for you, you will get something out of that video. Anyway, well, what are we doing in this video? I am going to try a puzzle called Heavy is the Crown, and this is by Sujoyku, and we're doing this for two reasons. Firstly, we've had recommendations to do it for people who have solved it, and they're going to include these sorts of people. Iffy says, wow, what a puzzle, took me over 2 hours, but felt like I was making tiny bits of progress the whole time. Very enjoyable. Black Doom says, just superb. Snooker Fan says, great puzzle, tricky and fun. I really like that the tiny break of symmetry does so much. Pietato says, very cool. And actually, if you go back, looking at Snooker Fan's comment there, and if you look at the puzzle, it's unbelievably symmetrical. And what do I mean by symmetrical? Well, I mean that if we were to draw a little line along the positive diagonal here, and if we ignore this blue line, this quite short blue line here, you can see we could fold the puzzle across that diagonal and it would hit itself. Everything would hit itself. Even the cages have the same totals. So the puzzle is absolutely and completely symmetrical, apart from this. And what that can often mean is that the puzzle, it could have more than one solution. I mean, obviously with this break of the symmetry, I don't know whether this is actually what's causing the puzzle to have a unique solution, but we'll have to see as we go through and try and solve it. But it's certainly a rather beautiful symmetrical offering, or almost symmetrical offering. And the other reason we're doing it is we've had a couple of emails from people who've tried to do it and failed, and think that there is something magical about it. So I hope I will be able to do it justice, but we'll see. We'll read the rules together in a moment or two's time. It's got a thing called a tentropic line involved in it, which sounds like that word tentropic, tentacular. What's tentacular from? Is that tentacles or something? Is that... I feel like that's a Harry Potter book that had tentacular in it. I don't know. I'm not sure where I've got the word tentacular from, but it's popping up in my brain. What else can I tell you about? Well, we're streaming tonight. More blueprints. Do join us. I'm not sure how many more blueprint streams there will be. As I mentioned yesterday, the last video got quite a lot of comments from people who were cross with us, so it may be that it's coming to a natural conclusion, but we're definitely streaming tonight. We'd love to have your company, 10 o'clock UK time for that. And Wind in the Willows is our monthly competition over on Patreon. Still got loads of time if you haven't even started it yet. 13 puzzles in all, helping the rather short-sighted and myopic mole to open his advent calendar. Let's have a look at where we are. So we were nearly 1,500 solves of the first puzzle and 371 for all of the puzzles. 418. It's gone up by nearly 50 overnight. And yeah, we've breached the 1500 barrier for the first as well. So well done to everybody who is managing to solve those puzzles. Do have a go if you haven't got involved yet. You'll definitely be able to get through them. They're a bit more approachable this month, and the feedback's been terrific. So I think you should have fun if you do have a go. Now, let's do the birthdays. Tom down there in Australia. I'm not sure whereabouts in Australia, but it's your birthday tomorrow for me, but that's going to be today by the time this video goes live. So happy birthday. Tom thinks the channel gets his brain working. I hope that's true. I did I've done occasional talks at schools for children who are sort of interested in puzzles, and speaking to the teachers, one of the things they're very concerned about is how easy it is nowadays for people not to have to use their brains. So how the default response to a question is to just type it into AI and get an answer. And teachers have the concern, I think, and I think it feels to me like a very valid concern, that we're sort of training ourselves out of the ability to use our brains and to have to think. In the old days, we wouldn't have had access to any of these marvellous tools, would we? We'd have had to sort of work it out from just using our sort of synapses. And anyway, I think that's why puzzles, these sorts of puzzles, do have an important role to play. And I suspect that's one of the reasons that the channel is popular, is that there's something in all our brains that's, brains want to think. They really do. They sometimes like to be lazy, but really they want to think, and they want to develop and get better. And it's very easy, I think, nowadays just to let them atrophy. Anyway, that's nothing to do with Tom's birthday. Tom, I hope you have a brilliant birthday. Many happy returns. I hope the chocolate cake is good. Now, someone who I am assured will be eating chocolate cake today is April. April, you're turning 18. And I know this because your dad, Dave, wrote to me. I think Dave, April's father, had no idea why he should be referring to the fact that April was going to have chocolate cake. But I understand, April. Well done. And you watch regularly and you enjoy the Blueprints videos too. Well, streams, I should say. There should be a new one this evening. And April, many happy returns. Next, Jules. Jules, you've turned 22 today. And I know this because your partner Kay wrote to me. And I know Jules has been watching for almost a year and has got Kay into the videos and puzzles as well. I really do appreciate that. I think spreading the word about these wonderful creations that we get to do is, you're doing a service, Jules. So thank you for doing that. And I hope you have a brilliant birthday today and that the chocolate cake is heavily iced. And then finally, we'll go to Melissa, who's turning 41 today. And I know this because your boyfriend, Andres, I hope I'm saying that correctly. I know the two of you are from Argentina originally, but living in Haarlem in the Netherlands. And Andres suggested to me I could try and say this. I will try and say it, and I will butcher it, and you can all laugh at me. This is the default setting of me in many social situations. I'm going to try and say Feliz cumpleaños. How bad was that? I don't know. You might not even know what I just said, but hopefully there will be. You might recognise it a little bit. And Melissa, many happy returns. Anyway, that's all the news. Let's have a look at "Heavy Is the Crown" by Sujoyku. The rules. Oh, okay. The rules start with "Happy Birthday, Calvin Ball." I don't know when this puzzle came out exactly, but happy birthday, Calvin Ball. We've got normal Sudoku rules applying, so we're going to have to put the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, every column, and every 3x3 box. Then we've got the 10 tropic lines. So every set of 4 sequential digits on a hollow peach line must contain one each from 19, 28, 37, and 4, 6. A 5 may not appear on a tentropic line, and digits on a line may repeat if allowed by other rules. So what that means is if we take 4 sequential cells, not doing a very good job of highlighting them. If we take 4 sequential cells on a tentacular line, tentropic line, one of these has to be a 1 or a 9, one of them has to be a 2 or an 8, one of them has to be a 3 or a 7, and one of them has to be a 4 or a 6. And then, of course, what you're going to find, and I hope this doesn't count as solving because people get cross with me if I do solving in the rules, but what you're going to find then is that whatever this one is, let's say this one was 1 or 9, this one is also going to be 1 or 9. And why is that? Well, that's because in this series of 4, you're going to have one of each. But in this series of 4, this one's going to have dropped out, isn't it? So that one won't have appeared in this series of 4, so it needs to appear, so it must appear there. So you get this sort of cycling effect, which, I mean, we've seen it before on entropic lines and modular lines, but here, because we've got 4 different types of digits, the repeats are going to happen sort of every 5th cell, if that makes sense. Hopefully it does. Anyway, there's more rules. Region sum lines. Box borders divide the blue lines into segments with the same sum. Different lines may have different sums. So let's do that for the top line. So we've got this cell, and then it enters this other box and makes a new segment. Then it re-enters this box. Look, or it doesn't re-enter, but it enters this box for one cell. Then it enters that box for 3 cells, and then it's got that segment at the end. So what this is saying is we sum these 3 greens, and the sum of these greens is the same as the sum of these oranges, is the same as this digit, because there's only one cell for the segment that exists in box 3. It's the same as this digit, which is the only instance of the line in box 1, and it's the same as this digit, which is the only instance of the line in box 9. And that is how region sum lines work. And we've just got one more rule which says digits in a cage must sum to 20. So because all of the cages in the puzzle do indeed seem to sum to 20. So we can be very specific about that rule today. Do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. But now I get to play. Let's get cracking. Now the first thing I'm going to do actually is when we were just doing the example here, you can see that we're adding 3 digits there to create a segment size, and that is the same digit. That whatever the sum of these 3 digits is, we're going to put that sum here, here, and here, because frankly we are, because these must all have the same sum to obey the region sum line rule. Now, if we're adding 3 different digits together, if we minimize those digits, we get 1 plus 2 plus 3, wouldn't we? So each of these purple cells is at least equal to 6. Right. Okay, and that's going to let us do a little bit of Sudoku. And actually, okay, I'm already finding that symmetry is... It's at least relevant here, isn't it? So what I'm seeing is, where is purple by Sudoku in box 2? It's obviously got to be in one of these 3 cells. But if purple was on the region sum line, imagine this was a 6, and we put purple here. Well, then this segment, which has to sum to 6, would already include the digit 6, and that would imply both of those digits had to be a 0, and that's not going to work. We can't use 0 in Sudoku, or at least not in this Sudoku. So purple's going to have to go here, but we don't even have to think about it. We can just remember that we've got the symmetry around the positive diagonal. We can immediately put purple here. We don't really have to think about it, because unless and until we use logic that is associated with this blue line, we know that everything we write in will be symmetrical about this positive diagonal. So we don't sort of have to recapitulate the logic to say, oh, well, that must be purple, because we've done the logic once, we can just assume it applies on the other side of the mirror symmetry line, if you see what I mean. Those of you who are interested in Sudoku theory may remember Girth's symmetrical placement, which is an interesting thing about totally symmetrical grids and how they must have at least two solutions. So anyway, I digress. Why is my phone buzzing at me? I hate it when WhatsApp starts buzzing, because it can just go off on one, can't it? Now, okay, so purple is in one of those cells. So purple, well, it could only go on this line if it wasn't a 9, because obviously if it's a 9, then that digit would be more than 9, because that's a single digit sum that's equal to the sum of that segment there. I don't want to look at the tentacular lines yet. They seem complicated. Do we really? No, we probably don't have to, do we? There's going to be some funny trick regarding these 20k. 20 is quite a big sum for a 3-cell cage. How many ways are there of making 20 in 3 different Sudoku digits? I know that if you don't have a 9 in the 20 cage, it has to be 5, 7, 8. That is one way of making it. It's the only way of making 3 different Sudoku numbers add up to 20 if you're not using a 9. But if you are using a 9, the other 2 digits are going to add to 11, so there's probably 3 different ways of doing that. 9, well, let's do this. 5, 6, 9, 4, 7, 9, 3, 8, 9. Okay, so there are 4 different ways of doing it. And that means, well, what does that mean? Don't know really. Yeah, okay, what that does mean is that purple is not 9. That might be interesting. Purple is not 9. Now the way I'm getting to that is that if purple is 9, let's just make it 9 for the sake of exposition, you can see this 20 cage and this 20 cage, because they don't include a 9 now, are both going to be 5, 7, 8. And now this little dog-legged 20 cage doesn't include any of the digits 5, 7 or 8. And you can't get high enough. 964 is 19. It's not enough. So that means we can actually say that purple is not 9. So what that means now is that these 3-cell segments, which now don't add up to 9, they add up to a maximum of 8, they all contain they both contain a 1. Because imagine there was no 1 on this segment, what's the minimum total it could have? Well, 2 plus 3 plus 4 is 9. And we just said these can't be 9. So there is a 1 on these segments. Now, if these are 8, then we're saying we can't put 8 into the 20 cages. So we'd be taking these 2 out, so they could be 5. They would have 9 in them, so that one would be 5, 7, 8. That's quite interesting. So if you put 8, yeah, so if purple is 8, the 20 cages both include 9, but that 20 cage then can't have a 9 in it because it'll have 2 9s pointing at it. So that's going to be 5, 7, 8. So there's going to be a purple in here. Wow. I don't know if that's possible or not. It doesn't feel impossible. What about if this was the other direction? If we made this 6, and I don't think it's going to be 6. And the reason I say that is that's going to make all of this 1, 2, 3. It just feels. It's just never doesn't ever seem to happen really. 6, 1, 2, 3. Oh, bobbins! I'm going to have to think about these tentacular lines. I think. I mean, it's hardly surprising, but I think we're going to have to think about them. So what do we know? Oh, we know they don't. Hang on. We know they don't have 5 on them ever. So 5. Do we care? No, 2 of them have 2 of the options for 20 cages do have 5 in them. Yeah, I mean, even if you try and put a 5 not in a cage in column 2, for example, if you put the 5 here, then in this row there would be a 5 in this one, because if this is 5, you can't put 5 there, so none of those 6 cells could be 5 in row 8, and there would be a 5 in here. So at least one 20 cage has a 5 in it. And there will be a coincident digit, won't there? What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is it's not possible for there to be a digit, for there to be nothing in common between these two 20 cages. And the reason we know that is to do almost with the Sudoku secret, and it's to do with triangular numbers. So imagine you tried to populate these green cages with no digit that was the same. Well, what could those digits be then? They could be 9, 8, 7, 6, 5 and 4. That's the most they could be, but they only add up to 39. And 39 is not the same as double 20, which is 40, obviously. So there is at least one digit in common between these two cages, and that digit can never go in the 20 cage. But the problem is, I don't know whether that's a big digit or it could be a little digit in common. I mean, imagine if both of the... I was about to say, imagine if both of these were 3, 8, 9, but that wouldn't work, because then you couldn't have a 9 or an 8 in that one. So imagine that they were both 4, 7, 9. Would that work? That might not work either. 8, 6, 5 isn't quite enough, is it? Is that some... So, okay, maybe these have to be completely different. Well, not completely different. I mean, maybe you can't have... If this is 5, 7, 8, this one can't be 5, 7, 8. We already have looked at that. If this is 5, 6, 9, that can't also be 5, 6, 9, because then the maximum that could be would be 7, 8, 4. Yeah, so that, in fact, that's sort of the same point, isn't it? We run out. Yes, it is exactly the same point. That's weird that my brain doesn't see that naturally. It's the same point, I'm just being an idiot. So having proved that these can't be the same, that these can't be all different, I then look at this. Well, no, it's not quite the same point. You know, if these were totally the same, is there any... Then I don't think you can make this work, because you're taking too many digits out. Yeah. Yeah, and that it's the sort of corollary of what we were of the other point, because what we're doing there is we're saying if we take 3 digits that add to 20, definitively out of this cage, which we would be doing if these were the same, then we're looking for 3 totally different Sudoku digits that do sum to 20, and they cannot be those that exist, because once we knock 20 out, to have 3 other digits that add to 20 would break numbers, because we know the top 6 digits in Sudoku 9, 8, 7, 6, 5 and 4 only sum to 39. So if I knock 20 of those digits out, I'm only ever going to make the other 3 add up to 19. So in fact, I am now able to say, and maybe you've all spotted this ages ago, that these are definitively different. And therefore this is a third version. So all 3 of these cages are different, and we know that because obviously, let's imagine this cage was, let's just pick one, 5, 6, 9. Could this also be 5, 6, 9? No, because then we'd have 5 digits in that column selected from just 3 different numbers. It's nonsense. So not only are these 2 greens different, but this is different. So we are using 3 of the 4 variations in these 20 cages. But given we know that any 2 20 cages must have a coincident digit, we know this digit is in that 20 cage, and we know that digit is in that 20 cage. It's a bit strange, isn't it? I'm not sure I'm making much progress, but I'm sort of having fun playing around with the numbers. And I've still not thought once about the tentacular line. Okay, I'm now going to think about, I can see one thing with the tentacular lines, which doesn't require much thought, so I'm going to try and use that. Actually, maybe it does require thought. Hang on. Oh, actually, hang on. No, this is more complicated than I'd realised. What I was going to say, yeah, I want to look at this one. I think there's something going on because, well, whatever that digit is, let's just, whatever the nature of this digit is, because we can't say anything beyond it's either a 1 9 or it's a 2 8 or it's a 3 7 or a 4 6. It's one of those things, and I don't know which one. But whatever it is, the nature of it is not repeating within these cells. The nature repeats here on this cell. But the thing I'm seeing there is that these are of different natures. No, they're of the same nature, but they're different within their nature. That makes total sense to me. No, what I mean is, imagine this was, I don't know, 4 6. Then we know these 3 digits, because of the tentacular line, these in some order comprise a 1 9, a 2 8 and a 3 7. This one is also a 4 6, but imagine that these were both the same. So within their nature, make them both 6. By Sudoku, you're then putting 6 on this line. And that's breaking the tentacular nature of the line. So these have to be different. So what we'll do is we'll label one of them blue and one of them light blue. So we're saying they're both from the blue set. Oh, yeah, okay, and by symmetry then, that is also the sort of indigo version of blue, isn't it? Because that logic we've been looking at here works the same here. These can't be the same within their nature, because that would go on there and break tentacularness. So oh no, okay, this is huge. This is it's really beautiful, actually. This is a very clever setting, because now I'm going to do Sudoku. Where is indigo in row 8? I don't know exactly, but obviously indigo is not in these 3. It can't be on the tentacular, and it's not in column 1 by Sudoku. So it's in these cells. Indigo is in these cells. But indigo in column 2 has that same property, doesn't it? It's not in those 3, it's not on the tentacular, it's not here, so it's in these 2 cells. So how can it simultaneously be in these 2 and those 2, only if it is that one? So that is indigo, this cell. Right. Good grief. Okay. Right. This is weird, but now I know a little bit about the nature of indigo and blue, I think. Because I can run this logic in reverse for this digit, row 7, column 3. Where is row 7, column 3 in this column? Now obviously this blue one is not in those 3 because it would break Sudoku, it would be in the same box twice. It's not on the tentacular line because it's not allowed to repeat until this cell at the earliest. It's not in any of those. So it's in that cage. But then in row 8 it's in this cage. So now I've got a digit. Well, how to explain this? So now I know that blue is not either 1-9 or 2-8. And the reason I know that is that both iterations of blue, the indigo and the plain vanilla blue, which are either going to be a 1-9, 2-8, 3-7 or 4-6 pair, both are capable of living in a 3-cell 20 cage. So imagine that the nature of this one was the 1-9 pair. One of these would be a 1. One of these is ending up in a 20 cage. I don't know which one it is, but you can't put 1 in a 3-cell 20 cage. Similarly, you can't put 2 in a 3-cell 20 cage. It just doesn't work. So these numbers now are either 3-7 or 4-6. Now, what does that mean? And the answer might... I don't know what that means yet. I'm sure it means something. I'm sure it means something. I just haven't worked out what yet. Come on, Simon. So it means this stretch of digits and this stretch of digits include the 1-9 and the 2-8 pairs. So I don't know what to do with that. Do we know? Is it? Sorry, I'm so sorry. If you can see this, well done. I don't think I'm a mile away from seeing it, but I don't see it yet. What? How do we do this? Okay. I think that's right. I don't think pink or purple or pinkle or what's the other variation? Punk or something can be 8 now. Because Yeah, I don't think it works. If these are all 8, then we know that these, the two winged 20 cages, are not 5, 7, 8, obviously. So they both include a 9. But that makes this one have to be 5, 7, 8. And I think that's going to put the 8 here, where it doesn't look like it wants to go. Now that might be wrong though. Maybe I could. 12. Yeah, that might be wrong. So that's an interesting question. If all of those are 8, such that these, which we know would be different, would be, one would be 5, 6, 9, one would be 4, 7, 9. Oh, I see. That does. No, that's okay. I think that's okay. So one of these would be, yeah, because 8 would be ruled out of these. 9 would be in those. So this one, which doesn't now have 9 in it, has only one option, and that is to be 5, 7, 8. Oh, that's lovely. That's lovely. Yes, it doesn't. Okay, so what I was wondering is whether I could, for example, hide the 8 here and make this the 5, 7. And I've realised I can't do that. And the reason I can't do that is Sudoku. Because, yeah, this is beautiful. This beautiful setting. If all these are 8, I now know there's an 8 in this cage. And I could just simply look at Sudoku and see it's taking out the wings of the dog leg here. And it's plonking the 8 in here. And I can't put 8 in there. And the reason I can't put 8 in there is that the other logic we did with the tentacular line says that if I do want to put 8 in there, I have to put 2 into a 20 cage, and I definitely can't do that. So I've actually got rid. I've got rid of 8. I might be able to get rid of 7 as well using that logic. But before we do that, let's just think. Because these can't be 8, now these lines have to include 2. Because whether they're adding to 6 or 7 in 3 cells, 7 is 1, 2, 4, and 6 is 1, 2, 3. In fact, that's what we should do, isn't it? We should write 1, 2, 3, and 4 into these cells. I've never even thought about this. Is this the top of the crown? It looks a bit like a teapot to me. I've not looked at this one. Oh, but come on, don't get distracted. Let me just think through 7 here. Yeah, but it is a bit different for 7. Because 7 could go in this cell. I think it's different anyway. But let's think it through. So if 7 is in the purples, then both of these 20 cages don't involve a 7. So one of them is 5, 6, 9. One of them is 3, 8, 9. Was there a bit of input lag there? Seemed to be. So they both have 9 in. That is one corollary of that. Now, if they both have 9 in, we know this definitely becomes. Ah, that doesn't work. Oh, that's beautiful. But we have to put it all together to make it clear that that doesn't work. Goodness, right. So let me try and explain that. If purple is 7, by Sudoku, because there's 9 in there and there's 9 in there, this has to be 5, 7, 8, and you have to put 7 in the crux. So this becomes 7. Now that means, of course, from our earlier logic, that this digit is now a 3. But that means that this, in fact I could have done this earlier, couldn't I? This can't be. But because it's going in both 20 cages, we could never have done that. This could never be 3 and it could never be 4, I've suddenly realised. Because putting 3 or 4 here, because that by the logic, the Sudoku logic and the tentacular logic, because that digit ends up in both 20 cages, it forces them to be the same. And we worked out they can't be the same. Because if they're the same, these 3 digits are totally different from those, and they have to add up to 20 on their own, and there aren't enough digits because 6 top digits only add up to 39. It's that logic again. So in fact, it definitely doesn't work. We can do all sorts of things now. Firstly, I'm going to make all of these 6. That is forced. I'm going to make all of these. Actually, I'm going to fix it. They're all going to be 1, 2, 3. So my earlier idea was wrong when I thought they were. I'm going to totally remove from this 3 and 4. Because that would make these the same, which they can't be. I'm going to make this the complement of this. So this is a very, very small number. If this is 3, this has to be 8, 9. And if it's 4, this has to be 7, 9. And there is definitely a 9 in one of those cells. Now, okay, so this one has been removed, hasn't it, from these two. So 5, 6, 9 is not the option. This digit is not a 6. That digit is not a 6. And if that digit is not a 6, which is that one. Oh, well, I know that already. I know that already. This is a 3 or a 4. Oh, I see. Well, hang on. Blue is in these cages. By Sudoku, well, if I was to put 6 in here, I'd have 2 6s in the box. This is stunning. It's weird, but it's absolutely stunning. So this is 7. So this is 3. These are 3s. And this is an 8, 9 pair. 7 is in there. 7 is in there. So we're in these two. And we know these are different, don't we? So one of these is 5, 7, 8. Okay, and whichever one is 5, 7, 8, the symmetry's breaking now. Whichever one is 5, 7, 8 is going to cause, say this was 5, 7, 8, it would cause a 9 here. And then the other one is going to be 4, 7, 9. So say that was 4, 7, 9, that's going to cause an 8 here. Right, so there's always an 8, 9, there's always a 7, 8, 9 triple in those cells. So there's always 7, 8 and 9 in those 4 cells of column 2, and 7, 8 and 9 in those 4 cells of row 8. And that, okay, that's quite interesting, because what that means is on this tentacular line, I know that 3-cell stretch has to include a digit that's a 1, 9 digit and a digit that's a 2, 8 digit. Well, it's not the 9 or the 8 in those situations. So these have 1 and 2 on them, and by symmetry, those have 1 and 2 on them. Sorry, I know I've stopped talking. Maybe I get rid of this, do I now? I know this one, so that one can come out. I know this one can't be in, so it's these two that are arranged in those two. I think I can remember that. I think let's get rid of this before I start using these pencil marks in Sudoku, which would be a terrible, terrible idea. Okay, so one of these is 1. And the other digit we haven't included in these 3-cell segments is the 4, 6. There's one of 4 and 6 in both. And that's going to depend, because, for example, if this was 4, 7, 9, then there would be a 6 on here. Oh no, but if it's 5, 7, 8, that doesn't actually affect the availability of 4 and 6. Oh, okay, so I'm not sure I can say much about the 4-6 pairs that exist on these tentaculars. Right, so it might be time for us to look at the other tentacular line then, which is sort of terrifying. These ones can't be 3s by Sudoku using the power of these 3s. So these are 1s and 2s. I don't know whether they have to be different. If they had to be different, that digit couldn't be a 1 or a 2. Okay, let's think about this line. So what do we know about it? We know that one, whatever the family is that this one's a party to, it's the same as that one and that one. Right. So those are all of the same family. Well, that family is not 3, 7, because 3 and 7 have already appeared in this box. So if it's 4, 6 family, can that work? I don't think that can work. That's a bit more complicated, but imagine this was if the yellow cells are from the 4, 6 family, each of those yellow cells sees a 6, so they are all 4s. But if they're all 4s, I can't put 4, 7, 9 into one of these 20 cages, which I know I have to do. So these are not from 4, 6. So these digits are 1, 2, 8, 9s. Now, this is really, it's absolutely bizarre, isn't it? Because that does not. I don't think that helps me at all. So that one is going to be the same as this one. So this one only appears twice on the line. So we better have a new colour for this. I'm running out of colours a bit here. I haven't used red yet. That one is the same as that one. Now I really am running out of colours. I'm going to get rid of my indigo and my blue, I think, now, to try and restore some colour options. So I could make that blue, and I'll make this indigo. So now okay. So what does that mean? I do not know. Okay, I know. Okay, no, that, hang on. Which one of these is 3? Oh, is it Sudoku? Hang on, maybe. Oh, goodness. Where's 3 in box 3? It's there. And that's 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the spotlight, losing its religion. Sorry, there's been 3s in these dominoes for ages. That's probably not going to help me, actually. I think I've got to figure out something about this tentacular line. It's just a bit terrifying to have to do it. So this blue digit here, this is from the same family, and you can see that these blue digits see one of every different type. So they see a 6 from the 4-6 family, they see a 1 from the 1-9 family, a 2 from the 2-8 family, and a 3 from the 3-7 family. So this digit, the blue digit, is either 4, 7, 8, or 9. Oh dear, I don't think that's very helpful, is it? That's probably... Or... Oh, I don't know. I don't know what to do. It's not this line, is it? I don't think it is. Ah, although I'm going to change my mind about that. Oh, this is right. Ah, I've seen something. Right. These two digits are the ones we're meant to look at. Let's just have a quick look. These two digits, what are they? And the answer is, I don't know. But I know much more about them than I'd realised. We can see very clearly they're the same digit because they are on this region sum. This is a segment. We sum those digits and we put that digit there and we put that digit there. So this is the same digit. They definitely can't be 6 or 7 then. Now could they be 8 or 9? That's what I'd missed. They can't be. Because imagine both of those are 8. Where are you putting 8 in that 3 cell? One of them's an 8. We couldn't put an 8 into either, and if these are 9, you couldn't put a 9 into either. So these are not 8 or 9, so the maximum size of this is 5. It's 5, 4, or 3, because this can't be less than a 1-2 pair. I'm wondering if it can even be a 1-2 pair. Right. So these digits are very, very low digits. They are from 1, because the maximum these can be is 5, so we can't have these as being from anything as big as 5. So these are very small. The symmetry is now sort of breaking down here. And somehow or other, we've got to work out what to do next. And the answer to that is not immediately clear, to me at least. How on earth are you meant to figure this out? That is the question. I don't know. But I am very intrigued. Maybe, do I know these are different? Would it matter if I knew this was an 8 or a 9? It might not, you know. And what are these? The greens? One of them is 5, 7, 8, isn't it? Let's just pay. I'm just going to, just so I can look at it, I'm just going to put 5, 7, 8. One of them's 4, 7, 9. So these are not in order. I just want to think about it. Yes, you're always going to have 8. You're always going to have. In this situation, this would be 9. This would be 9. This would be 8. They're ruled out of here. In this instance, there would be a 6 on here, and this would be a 5. Oh, you can never put 5 on the tentacular line. Oh. So it's almost impossible for this to be 5. 5 would have to go in one of those 2 cells in the middle box. Okay. 2, 8, 9. So, I'm not sure. I don't know how we do this then. Is it to do with Is it to do with putting 3, 7 on this top tentacular line? Oh, that's lovely. That's exact. Oh, that's weird. That's exactly what it is. Yeah. Okay. So I don't actually think I need this. Let me just get rid of. Well, actually, no. Let's restore it. I'm going to just restore it because. No, I don't need it. I don't need it. Sorry. I don't need it. Let's go back here. You can see I've got a 7 pencil mark here and a 7 pencil mark here. And that's totally bona fide. And I know that one of these colours corresponds to a 3 and a 7. Now, but this digit, which is my indigo digit, cannot be 3, 7 because it appears in this box. And red cannot be 3 or 7 because it appears in this box. So which colour are we going to make 3, 7? It can't be yellow, it can't be red, and it can't be indigo. So the only colour you've got left is blue, and therefore blue is 7. And it's that simple. And so we get a 7 in the middle of the grid. Because we know that indigo and red cannot be 3, 7. And now... yeah, well now I can write 7 in here. I can write 7 in here. I've got lots of 7s out of absolutely nowhere. So this is not... oh, whoopsie, that's not a 7. That's not a 7. 7 is in one of 3 places in box 3. So... but now hang on. Hang on. Okay, so now we think about the digit 4, don't we? Because I now need to decide either indigo or red is the 4, 6 pair. But so that but all of the indigo and red all see 6 already. So either red, either those two are 4. Oh, this I see it. Yeah. So either these two are 4 or these two are 4. And that means that there's definitely a 4 in one of those two cells. And that means that this doesn't have 4 on it. This thingy line. I've got a 1, 2, 3 triple here. That probably does something. Let me just think about this now. So I know one of these is a 4. I know one of these is a 4. And whichever one of those is a 4 is going to stop the 20 kg in its box from being 4, 7, 9 and force it to be 5, 7, 8. Okay, well, I know that this triple here includes the digits 1 and 2. We looked at that earlier. But I know that that's not this digit now. So that digit is not 1 or 2, so these two digits are 1 and 2. And that's a true break in the symmetry. Because I can't apply that logic in this box in the same way at all. Oh, wait. No, there's some problem with 3. if I make that 3, how does that work? I'm just seeing all of the 3s I'm getting. If both of these are 3, I get a 3 there. Yeah, this doesn't work. This definitely doesn't work. If these are all 3s, I get a 3 here and a 3 here by Sudoku. I've now got 4 3s looking at the middle box. And where is it telling me I've got to put a 3? There. Well, I can't put a 3 there. That's the wrong family. So 3 is not this digit. So it is 4 or 5. Okay, so what that means, I wonder if it can be... Oh no, that's beautiful. It's so easy now. It's so easy, and this is one of the best puzzles I have done this year. This logic is so wonderful. Look, now if this was 4, if these were both 4, neither of those could be 4. And the 4 family couldn't live in the puzzle. So these both have to be 5. Whoops. And that has to now be, because it doesn't have 4 on it, that has to be a 2-3 pair, which means this is a 1, this is a 3, this is a 2, this is a 2, this is a 1. Right, this is not a 1 now. I don't know what that's done, but it felt like progress, didn't it? Oh, come on, that must do something more. Is it? Yeah, 3, 3. There has to be a 3 here now. Let's double click 3s. Maybe 3s can be friendly to us. Ah, yeah, there has to be a 3 there as well, because I've got this congruence of 3s in boxes 5 and 6. And I can't put 5 on the tentacular line, so 5's got 2 positions in box 5 as I try not to sneeze. 1 is almost very restricted in the middle box. It's got 2 possible positions. That feels like it could almost be relevant, doesn't it? Yes. But, okay, that digit is now a big old digit, 8 or 9. It sees 1 and 2 in the column. But that, again, I'm not sure that matters. Well, okay, what does matter is where... Oh, that's it. Where's 6 in the middle box now? Sudoku is putting it here, which is one of the places I wanted to put a 1. And the 1 moves up here, which makes this the 4. So now red is from the 4-6 pair, so I can write 4 in here, and that's broken the symmetry. Because now I know green is 5-7-8, because it doesn't have 4 in it. We know that is 4-7-9. We know this is 8. This is 9. In this row, we've got a 5 and a 6 to put in, and there's a 5 here. So 6, 5. So these 6s all get purplified. 6 is in one of those 2. 6 is in one of these 2. This is 5-7-8, so this digit is not 8 anymore. This digit is not 9 anymore. So I'm sure I should be able to do that, I just can't figure it out. Come on, brain. Oh, this is a 1. Right, so that's a 2. So this is now a 1-3 pair. That probably does something. 4, 8, 9 down here. So let's have a quick look at that. Obviously this one can't be 9. 4, 7, 9, 5, 7, 8. 1 can be placed in box. Oh, so 1s are starting to do a little... Oh, that's big. Right, this digit is 2 or 8. It sees this 1, I just didn't see it. So it sees 1, it sees 9, so it's 2, 8. So these yellows are all from the 2, 8 family. And we can fill that one in, and we can fill that one in. That's going to give me a 9 here by Sudoku, which gives me a 9 here by Sudoku, which gives me a 9 there, and a 5 there, and a 5 here. Wow. Just wow. This is a stunning, stunning puzzle. I can actually understand why some people have had trouble with it as well. I am not finding this easy at all. 1 is in the indigo, which we'd already sort of understood if I'd spotted that before. So these digits down here are 2, 5, 8, are they? I think they are. I'm not saying I know what they are yet. So this digit is 2 or 4 in the row. Oh, I know what I can do. I can count along the bottom tentacular line, can't I? Because I've got 1 here, so I know that this digit is 1 or 9 by tentacularness. So that's a 1, that's a 1, that's a 3, that's a 3, that's a 2. Now, therefore, this one is from the 2, 8 pair. Well, it's definitely not an 8, so that's a 2. And that means this one is from the 4, 6 pair, and it's not a 6. So that one's a 4. And this row hasn't had a 5. And this box hasn't had an 8 or a 6. So 6 and 8 can go in. This column needs 2 and 4. That's become a 6. That digit's become a 1. Okay, so that got us a little bit further. This column needs a 9. These digits are 4 and 8. That digit's definitely not a 7. This is 4, 5 or 8. And hopefully now we might be on the home stretch. I don't want to get ahead of myself in case there's more trickery to be resolved, but it feels like we're almost there, doesn't it? This can't be 5. So 5 in the bottom row has now only got 1 place to go. Now 5 in this row has only got 1 place to go. So I get left with a 7, 8 pair up here. And some more thinking to be done. Right, what about this box then? 4, 8, 9. We can write the 4 in. Can we do the 8 and the 9? Maybe not yet. That digit's under some pressure. So you can see from the column, it's 2, 7, 8 or 9. So it's 7 or 8 and it forms a pair in its row. So these two digits I think are a 4, 5 pair. So that's got to be 5, that's got to be 4. And if that's true, that's now an 8. And that's a 2. So this digit down here is 4, is not 4, so that's a 7, 9 pair. This is a 4. This is a 7. 8, 7 can go in. 8, 4 can go in. 7, 9 can go in. 9, 8 can go in. 2 in the corner. 2, 4, 4, 8. It's actually, it's just an absolutely, oh, that's, and I've broken it. I've got 2 9s in the top row. So something has just gone wrong. Right. I'm not going to say right at the end. Oh, I've got 2 2s in this box as well. Right, let's just quickly unwind that and see what on earth I did wrong there. I wrote 7 there, 9 there, 9 there, 8 there, and that meant I couldn't put an 8 in the bottom box. So something has gone wrong before that. Okay. It felt like, I tell you what felt wrong. This pencil mark felt wrong. It might be fine. But I was surprised. Now, why did my brain get excited about that? Let's do it differently. So in the row 4, 5, 7, 8, this C's 4 and 5, so that is a 7 or an 8, which I think I pencil marked. And then what did I do? And then I put 4 and 5 into the row, which looks appropriate. I then put 8 beneath it. I put 2 there. I then got a 7, 9 pair in that column. 7. Oh, I'm doing all sorts of things over there now. I put 7 there. And that's going wrong, isn't it? Because when I put the 9 in here, 9, 8, and this digit's unfillable. So something's gone very wrong. Oh no. Yeah, it's gone wrong earlier, I think, which is... But I really didn't feel like I did... I mean, I must have done something stupid, but I definitely didn't feel like I was doing stupid things. That's the famous last words. Okay. I'm not even sure where to go back to here. Because it implies that I've done something daft. Have I done something daft logically? I mean, I can see I could have written 4 into box 2 quite early on, and I definitely didn't do that. So maybe I should just go back. I'm not sure. Oh, maybe I miscounted this tentacular line. So I said this was a 1, and then the 1-9 pair would reappear here. That's correct, isn't it? Okay, and then I said that one needs to be from the 2-8, and I didn't think it could be. And then this one should be from 4-6, and I don't think it can be 6, so that all feels... Oh, I was going to say don't write a 6 in there, but apparently I changed that to a 5. Okay, well let's go back to here, and let's resolve it from here and see if that helps me. So maybe I just made a Sudoku error, so I'll change tack and we'll go from here. So I need 8 and 9 now, so 9 goes here, the 8 goes here. This is now a naked single 5. This row needs a 9. Let's put that in. That's definitely not a 9 anymore. These digits appear to have to be 6 and 8. I think I put that in last time, so maybe I shouldn't go there, but that does seem to be logical. This box needs 4, 8 and 9, so the 4 should go here, which takes 4 out of this cell. These should be 8 and 9. Does that matter? I don't know yet. And it was some... I mean, have I mispencil marked a box or something? That could well be the sort of thing that would really break you. 6 should go here. 1 has to go there. This has to be 2 or 4. Okay, I'm going to try and use the top row now. So I can see I've got 2, 7 and 8. This seems to be a naked single 8. So 8, 8, 7. In the top row, what have we not put in? A 2. Oh, now last time I thought I got this to be... Maybe that's gone round the other way this time. I don't quite know why and what I've done different, but I do seem to be getting a different... It could be the same error compounding though. That's the problem. This 8 here, this becomes a 9. That becomes a 4, 7, 9. 2 in the corner. 2, 4, 4, 8. Oh, careful. 7. Okay, that's not looking terrible. And in this box I need 4, 5. Wow. Okay. And that looks correct now. Yes. Okay. So I think I must have made a Sudoku error. And I apologise for that. You can all tell me in the comments when I was dumb. I didn't mean to be dumb. But what I do want to say, I really do want to say about Sujoyku's puzzle is that this is brilliant. It's actually incredibly brilliant. Like really stupendously brilliant. That is a very, very clever puzzle. And it has been set with the most unbelievably brilliant care. And the ideas in it are just vibrant to me. I loved that. I thought that was really, really excellent. Excellent. Let me know in the comments how you got on with it. I enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind. And we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.